Township Board of Education is meeting in a regular session for discussion on business before the board tonight. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the public's right to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the board has caused written notice of this meeting and copies of its agenda to be transmitted to the Roxbury Register, the Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Municipal Clerk, Roxbury Public Library, and the Roxbury website, roxbury.org. Notice of tonight's meeting has been posted in the board's business office.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bonilla. Mr. Botero.
Here.
Mrs. Colucci.
Here.
Mrs. Galdieri.
Here.
Ms. Hernandez.
Here.
Mrs. Hopkins.
Here.
Mrs. McGregor.
Here.
Mr. Mildy.
Here.
Mrs. Purcell.
Present.
Ms. Shenick. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have a resolution to meet in executive session. Would somebody like to move that resolution? Sharon? And Val? Okay, we're in executive session. Okay, it is 7:45. We are back from executive session and into public. You have a roll call, please.
Mr. Bonilla,
Present.
Mr. Botero,
Here.
Mrs. Colucci,
Here.
Mrs. Galdieri,
Here.
Ms. Hernandez,
Here.
Mrs. Hopkins,
Here.
Mrs. McGregor, Mr. Mildy,
Here.
Mrs. Purcell,
Present.
Ms. Shenick. We have a quorum.
Okay, we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we have the Nixon School students come up here and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? You know what? You guys can actually stay standing because you guys are going to go first for the presentation. And you're going to come up. You're going to come up here, right, Joe? You said, okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, the board, we can probably go back there if you want.
Okay.
So much to the Board of Education for welcoming us here at the meeting this evening. I am joined by a whole bunch of staff and students from Nixon. My name is Danielle Lynch. I'm the principal of Nixon Elementary School, the proud principal. And you can see by the smiles on some of our faces here that we are super proud to be here. At Nixon School, we have 270 students, each with different abilities, unique talents, varied strengths, but all sharing the natural desire to feel connected, valued, and cared about. To support opportunities that nurture and foster this connectedness, Nixon School has created a host of opportunities that our students can be a part of. Tonight, I am joined by a number of staff and students to help highlight for you these efforts and the impact that they have had on us as individuals. And while I'm joined here by everyone that you see, there are some who weren't able to attend, but I do want to draw attention to their names because they were disappointed they couldn't be here. So Tommy and Johnny Purcell, Nora Manahan and her family, and Gianna Rodriguez, Dylan Wilkes, Elena Odian, Amelia Barak, and Mia Paul. And with that, as we're talking, there's going to be a slideshow just playing of some of the opportunities and moments that have been captured in these opportunities at Nixon. And with that, Mrs. Rex.
Hi, my name is Jean Rex, and I'm a third grade teacher at Nixon. Best Buddies is an opportunity that is built into our WIN period, and we do that once a week, where third grade students visit students in our specialized programs and engage in activities that promote social skills along with receptive and expressive language. Hi,
Hi, I'm Stephanie Echeverria, also a third grade teacher at Nixon Elementary. As a staff member, I find Best Buddies beneficial because it promotes inclusivity and cultivates the positive culture and climate that are already so evident at Nixon Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Brenda, and I'm visiting Mrs. O'Connor's classroom for Best Buddies. I love Best Buddies because I can learn more things. One time I made a poster, another time I collected clothes for others. One of my favorite Best Buddies memories is finger painting with my friends.
Hi, my name is Jen Babis, and I'm an occupational therapist at Nixon School. Green Team is an opportunity that is an outgrowth of Nixon School sustainability efforts and efforts that have been celebrated through our school's silver status with Sustainable Jersey for Schools. Through the Green Team, we learn functional life skills through the process of growing our own plants and food. It also provides many opportunities for student collaboration as well as the generalization of academic and social skills amongst all of our learners. As a staff member, I find Green Team beneficial because it fosters school community, promotes social emotional learning for students of varying abilities, and encourages the development of practical skills.
My name is Phoebe, and I'm a member of Green Team. I love Green Team because you get to interact with your partner and get to know them and play games with them. You can help out, and you can plant flowers in the Husky Garden. Also, I like to help other people that need more help. One of my most favorite Green Team memories is when we got to know our partners and realized that we have a lot in common with our partners. And I like to play games with my partner and learn about each other. My partner and me picked flowers, pumpkins, and peppers to grow in the Husky Garden.
Hi, my name is Laura Negresta. I'm the art teacher at Nixon School. Unified Specials is an opportunity to explore reverse inclusion in a setting that reduces stimuli for students that have different abilities. In the art setting, we have students come in to assist our special education students in their projects, showing their peers the skills that they have already learned and teaching the students how to enhance their own personal skills. This also gives the students one-on-one time together to gain friendships with other students in different classes. As a staff member, I find Unified Specials beneficial because all students that are included gain a friendship, as well as all students involved learn from each other. The general education students learn patience, and they learn different ways to introduce and create a project. For the students in the TIDES program, this helps them communicate with other peers and helps give them independence where they can work with their peers.
Hi, my name is Zoe, and I have been a part of Unified Specials. The reason that I like being a part of Unified Specials is because it lets me have another chance to help other kids. I like helping them because I like helping others who might be having a hard time with things. One of my most favorite Unified Specials memories is during gym I got to play with people that I didn't know from kindergarten and first grade. I got to know what kinds of things they like mermaids, and I found out that we like some of the same things. Hi, my name is Kendall, and I've been a part of Unified Specials. The reason that I like being a part of Unified Specials is because I like being able to help them, interact with them, and play different games with them in the gym. One of my most favorite Unified Special memories is in the gym. I was playing with a friend, and I asked him if he wanted to do hopscotch. I held his hand when he jumped, and he was counting the numbers in Spanish. It was so cute.
Love that. Hello, my name is Christine O'Connor, and I am a TIDE special education teacher at Nixon. At Nixon, not only are there wonderful scheduled opportunities available, but we also have regular experiences that allow for learning and growing together. Several times a week, my class joins our first grade peers for recess, where students can practice their social and turn-taking skills. Several times a month, our peers join my classroom to learn about a topic and create a project related to the events of the month. So far this year, we made a handprint heart for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is on display at Nixon. We created books about the life cycle of apples, wrote I Am Thankful poems, and recently celebrated the 101st day of school. Tomorrow morning, my class will be joining the first grade students in their animal exhibition of learning. As a staff member, I find these opportunities beneficial because they help teach empathy and understanding through collaboration and teamwork. The students experience an environment where they feel valued, which increases their self-esteem and their self-worth.
My name is Sade. And these are my friends, Taylor, Dinora, and JJ. We we get to do fun things together in our classrooms. My favorite thing that we do is playing on the playground together. Hi, I'm JJ. My name is JJ. We get to do fun things together in our classroom. We My favorite thing that we done was to make snowman gifts for our families. My name is Taylor. We get to do fun things together in our classrooms. My favorite thing that we have done is having recess together when we can jump on the trampoline. My name is Dianara. We get to do fun things together in our classrooms. My favorite thing that we have done was celebrating the 101st day of school, where we made Dalmatian hats. Hello, my name is Briella, and I am a fourth grader at Nixon School. I have been part of Green Team, Best Buddies, and Unified Specials, and lots of other opportunities where I have been able to make new friends. One of my friends is Nora, and one of my favorite memories with Nora from outside of school is when Nora came to my cheerleading competition and was so excited to see us perform. I also really liked I also really liked going to Nora's house to play games with her. Nora also came to see Santa with me.
Hi, my name is Danielle Evans, and I'm the speech therapist at Nixon School. Through all these experiences, our students are collectively learning and growing through the integration of IEP goals with social emotional learning to ensure that our students are flourishing and generalizing their academic and therapeutic goals across a variety of settings in our school with their peers. I'm going to share from the perspective of a parent, and the following was offered by Nora Manahan's parents. Her mom had stated, Nora, myself, and my husband love Nixon School. It has been a fantastic fit for Nora. Her needs have been well met, and she is socially integrated with her mainstream peers so far as her abilities allow. All of her mainstream peers know her and greet her affectionately and vice versa. She has had a few long-standing relationships with peers outside of her special education classroom, and several of these kids happily attended her 10th birthday party outside of school. We can tell Nora is well-adjusted and comfortable at Nixon, which is absolutely paramount when you have a child who cannot come home to report to you the details of their day. All of her teachers and aides have been very competent and supportive. The same goes for the therapy staff, her bus drivers, and her bus aides. The inclusive practices in place at Nixon are working very well for Nora and our family. With thanks, Aaron and Sean, who are Nora's parents. As a staff member at Nixon School, I am proud of these efforts because it has been a pleasure to observe the friendships created amongst our students as well as the growth in compassion, kindness, and inclusivity within our school community.
And with that, again, we thank you for having us and allowing us the opportunity to celebrate who we are as Nixon. We are one, and we are Nixon proud. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks again, guys. Up next, we're going to have the Roxton group. Come on up.
I don't know. I guess we'll kind of stand here and face everybody. Yeah, right here is good. Oh yeah, if you have that, that's perfect. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. Why, you don't want to be a part of the presentation? All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Gottfried. I'm one of the advisors of Roxton, and here we have some of our Roxton team with us. I just wanted to first start by saying thank you to the Roxbury community, to our Board of Ed for the continuous support that you've provided us over the 12 years now. This is our 12th year that we're doing this, and for all the amazing green shirts that you guys are wearing. We appreciate that, which is awesome. Roxton started in 2014, and this is an organization that has really grown and transformed over the years, and it's something that we're really proud of, and it's really made a huge impact as we transition from Minithon, which is a small version of Penn State's Thon, and this past weekend they had their 46-hour no sitting, no sleeping marathon. We have our overnight event. We do 12 hours coming up on March 7th, so not this Friday, but the next Friday. And it's really been awesome to see how the event has changed over the years and to see the buy-in, to see our community come together. And this year we took the next step in bringing the Roxbury community into this, because it was a high school event with some middle school participation until this year, where we held a Roxton Junior, where we brought the community together to do a Gold Out. We did a PJ Day district-wide, and that success has really transformed and kind of pushed us towards a really ambitious goal of $100,000 this year. And so we're at 600,000 lifetime already, which is a really impressive number, and a lot of that has to do with all of our students and leaders that are involved, because while we push to help kids with cancer through Goriab and through Four Diamonds, we really make more of an effort to develop leaders and to give students the power to create this club and make all the decisions and drive it in whatever direction they see fit. And so this success, while we as the adults guide them, it's really them that put in all the hard work and make things happen. So I'll turn it over to them to let them speak a little bit more.
Hi everybody, I am Victoria Gonzalez. I am one of the advisors. I am also a Roxbury High School 2020 grad. I was the Minithon president in 2019, Roxton president in 2020. Just to go off what Mr. Gottfried said, we really focus A, on our community and involving those who are not at the high school, but B, building leaders so that when they leave the high school, they can continue building the foundational skills that they learned through our club in their lives, whether they go to college or right to a job or trade school or what have you. Something that we really, like I said, focused on in the community. We love having the elementary school kids at Roxton Junior, and it's been awesome to see how our efforts have been expanded and been well received throughout Roxbury. Oh, yes, we have a quick, it's like a minute and 17-second promo video. This just shows you our efforts, and we had some of our leaders be interviewed and ask kind of why they thon, what's all about, and yeah, so enjoy.
Roxton is both a club and organization here at Roxbury High School where we help kids with cancer. We started back in 2014 when a student brought the idea to do a mini-thon to Roxbury.
We hold an annual overnight dance marathon that's in support of Goriab Children's Hospital and Four Diamonds.
We'll make it to the other side like lovers do. I'll reach
if I could describe Roxton, I'd say honorable, life-changing, collaborative, and energetic.
What I find so incredible and amazing is that our athletes and our gamers and our musicians and our thespians all come together for a greater cause.
I thought to help make a difference in children's and families who are in the fight of their life.
There's so much I can do to help other people who have cancer.
That no family has to go through the hardships of pediatric cancer.
We dance and we raise money and we say, we see you.
So, hi everyone. My name is Anuj Vyas. I'm this year's president of Roxon. And as you kind of heard a little bit before, our event is from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. at the Roxbury High School gymnasium, and with the option for students to leave at 11 p.m. And it's just one of the most fun nights at Roxbury, with so many students coming from all over the high school from different grades, coming to have a good time. And for this year, our theme is New York City, and we have a bunch of New York themed like decorations and activities with music that corresponds with that. And with last year, we raised $77,000, which is really a tremendous amount. And 70% of that went to Goriab Children's Hospital in Morristown to help families pay for bills or anything else they may need, while other 30% went to Four Diamonds, which helps cancer research at Penn State University. And so currently, we're at around 350 participants with still 2 weeks to go. And on our salsa page, we're at around 60K. So we're definitely making our way towards our 100K goal, slowly but surely, with a big push in our last 2 weeks. And so a lot of that is because of our notable events, which one of our other captains will talk about too.
Hi, I'm Melissa Talmadge. I'm this year's operations director. And like Mr. Gottfried said, this year we really tried to incorporate district-wide events so everyone can be involved. So we started out with our Gold Out, which we raised $5,000 through that alone. And then we had a district-wide PJ Day, which brought in another $5,000 for us. And we had our first ever Roxon Junior, which incorporated the elementary and middle schools, and that raised $6,500 for us. And then coming up, we have a cake pop fundraiser. We went to Penn State's Thon, which Ms. Richmond will talk more about later. We have our silent auction, which is running through Saturday, and we have our actual event, Roxon, which is on March 7th.
Is this on? All right. First of all, thank you for having us. It's so nice to see so many of our future leaders here, sitting here. So when you get up to the middle school and high school, we'd love to see you participate. We want to thank you for allowing us to continue the trip to Penn State to go to Thon. So what that is a 46-hour dance marathon where students at Penn State are chosen based upon interviews to participate and raise money. And so what we do, we get to experience that vicariously. We go, we sit in the stand, we don't sit, we stand for over 20 hours ourselves. We bring our leaders and we become like part of the solidarity of this cause. One of the things that you heard on the video is we constantly ask, why do we thon? And a lot of our leaders will say, we thon for a parent, we thon for a grandparent, we thon for a friend. You know, we do this because of someone who has been afflicted with cancer. At the event, we realize that it's so much bigger than Roxbury. It is a global cause that we are part of. We are a small cog that makes a difference. And so having us be able to take that trip and to experience it and to have our leaders unified just motivates us to reach out and ask, can you help us, because we are helping other people. And so we thank you for continually allowing us to take that bus trip 3 hours away and experience it. It was memorable. There were tears during difficult times. There were laughs. There was bonding. But what we realize is that Roxbury is making a difference. Just as a quick FYI, at Penn State, they continue to beat their own records. This year, they raised over $17 million in 1 year. 1 year, 17 million. Help us get our goal.
So hi, my name is Addison Christian. I'm part of the hospitality committee. We kind of deal with sponsorships and getting food donations. So right now we're looking for donations. You can scan that QR code if you want to look right now. You can also go to roxthon.org. We're also doing a silent auction right now. We have a huge amount of items. There is something for everybody on there. We have a signed Giants football. We have a Don Jose gift card, which I have already been on. We have Weiss gift cards. There is truly something for everyone. You should definitely look it up. And that will be ending this Saturday, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to that, like, thank you all for those who have supported. I know Godfrey mentioned it before, but we really want to make this a whole Roxbury thing and try to get everyone part of our cause and to really get that 100K, since that's something we've been rooting for years now, but this year might finally be the chance we do. And so if you look up our website, this is some of the stuff you'll see. So on the top left, that's our main page. You'll see how many days to our event and some other stuff. You'll see the Donate Now button, which goes to another page, which is our fundraising page, which is Salsa. There you can also see our total, which is in the bottom right. I took that not long ago, like 30 minutes ago. So that's our Salsa fundraising page right now. We're at 60K, and we're still trying to get more as the days go by. Other than that, above that, you can see like you can find anyone you know. So if you want to donate to a specific participant, you can by typing up their name in that little area. And then in the bottom left is where you'll see our silent auction. It's right under, if you go to roxon.org, you can scroll down a little and you'll see our silent auction and can bid on any of the items. There's truly a bunch, like Addison was saying, and there's something for everyone. So anyone can bid on it, whatever they want, and try to win. And then do you want to?
Oh, really quickly. Hi. Again, I was just going to say how proud I am of not only these guys behind me, but also the rest of our leaders. I heard the phrase in college, it's really the people that make the place, and I can't say that enough about these guys and Mr. Gottfried and Ms. Richmond. It is truly an honor to come back as an alumni and now as a mentor and someone that I looked for when I was in high school. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I can't also thank you guys enough for your endless amount of support, whether you have a student who is younger in the district or you are a member of the board or a teacher or anybody at home. So thank you.
And it really is cool to have someone like Ms. Gonzalez come back to be full circle, to go from the person who, as we transition from Minithon, supporting directly Penn State's Thon, to making it local and really bring it home to our community and helping out Goriab. Ms. G was there as the president for those 2 years of transition, and now to come back as an advisor really makes it full circle. So it's a cool moment for us to be able to kind of see the product of our hard work, bringing this organization to life, developing leaders, and now we have our leaders developing the next generation of leaders. So it really is exciting, and we're excited for big things. You're certainly welcome to join us at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning on March 8th if you're ambitious enough to get up that early and come see how much we've raised throughout the year and to celebrate our success with us. Otherwise, thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Up next, we have Mr. Trokin presenting the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, making me look like an amateur. Okay. So anyhow, thank you all for listening to this presentation. I want to talk about the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy, which it's an exciting program that began about 10 years ago in California, and it spread pretty quickly to the rest of the country. And last year I was saying there was one holdout. Now I could say all 50 states have a Seal of Biliteracy program. And what the Seal of Biliteracy does is it's a measurement of a student's fluency in English as well as at least another language. So I'm proud to say that the Roxbury High School class of 2025 has achieved a record in seals of biliteracy attained. They have attained 52. So that is up from 38 the previous year, and we've gone up over the past several years. When I took over as World Languages Supervisor in 2021, we would have about 20-ish students a year. We get the Seal of Biliteracy. Now we're at 52. And I have to say, this is a test that is no joke. So here's an image of the Seal of Biliteracy certificate that a student attains from the state DOE upon graduation. It's issued directly from the New Jersey Department of Education, and it's issued after a student passes a test that takes about 3 hours to do. Anyone from this group do the Seal of Biliteracy? Did it take about 3 hours? took you about 3 hours. So that was dedication. We don't do it all in one sitting. That was one of the things that I reformed early on. I said, you know what, 3 hours is just too long for somebody to sit down and take a test that is assessing their reading, writing, listening, and speaking in another language. So we broke it up into several different components. And so, you know, we kind of expanded the program over the years, and, you know, kind of taking a look at what we were doing in the department, in the World Languages department. How could we help our students to achieve this, which is a tremendous distinction that, you know, as I said, it's been growing, but it's also been growing in terms of what it can do for the student. So a student achieves the seal of biliteracy, and it's not just a distinction on a diploma, it is also something that can be used for college credit, for waiving out of entry-level world language requirements. And at the end of the day, I think that is something that saves a student time and saves a student money, but also makes the student a better person, because you've now determined that you are somebody that is possessing fluency in not just English, but another language. So there's just a little image of the little certificate that the student gets after taking the 3-hour test. And it also is a test that I feel kind of captures really a lot of what is important in education, and really what is, you know, a lot of what is important in terms of a growth mindset. So it is a test that is self-paced. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you took the test, you attested to me that it took you 3 hours. So you're able to go at your own pace. You were able to, did you have to take any sections again, or you got it all in one shot? So that's really good. One of the great things about it is that if you miss a section, you can take it again. So we have students that their level of dedication has been so high to passing this test that maybe they missed a section and they came back and took one again. They were able to demonstrate their skills, demonstrate their mastery to that particular level. And so, like I said, we're at 52 seals. Class of 26 is on pace to break the record. They already have 38 seals, and they have almost an entire year to go until their deadline comes up. So they're on pace. I mean, I have to congratulate the class of 2025, but I'm also very hopeful for the class of 26 that they're going to have a new record as well. So it's my hope that they hit maybe 60 seals. That's my goal for them, but maybe we'll hit something even higher than that. But, you know, you can see there the number of languages that our students have passed the seal of biliteracy in. All of the languages that are taught at Roxbury High School, so Spanish, French, and Italian, plus a number of others. So we've had Portuguese, Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, and we've also had Filipino. That was a new one this year. We had not had anyone pass the test in that language before. And earlier groups, we've had students pass it in Mandarin and German. So quite a few languages where we've had students achieve the seal. And we've also had a very distinct number of students who have achieved it in not one, but 2 languages. So that means that they speak 3 languages because they also speak English. So we recently did a podcast. Dr. Sipe and I recently did a podcast. There's a group of students that passed the seal test. This is not even all of them, not even close. This is just 2 I could get together because quite a few of them were actually on the Thon field trip. So you were in the picture, so that was the day of the Thon field trip. Yeah, so a number of students who have passed 2 seal tests. I have 2 little QR codes that I put up there. Those podcasts are like over 30 minutes long, but you might want to listen to them later. But tremendous talent there in terms of our students and what they've achieved. So we have a Seal of Biliteracy podcast just kind of talking about the Seal of Biliteracy from the student perspective. That's from March of last year. And we did a more recent podcast where we interview a number of double seal recipients. So these are the students who have achieved the Seal of Biliteracy in more than one language. So usually it's a language that's spoken at home and a language that they've learned mostly at Roxbury High School. And we're really proud of those students and their efforts, and probably the 6 hours plus that they put into taking this test. It's, you know, like I said, it's no joke. I took 2 of these seal tests myself, and I did pass them, though it does not go as an honor in my diploma because that ship has sailed. But I could attest to it that it is challenging. It is difficult. It also is very real life. That's the other thing that I really like about it is that it connects the students with real life situations that they do encounter using that target language, and they really get to demonstrate their skills there across all four domains of language. And I couldn't be prouder of our students and of our World Languages Department for the efforts that have been put forward with the Seal of Biliteracy, and just the QR codes there for you. But it also connects to another endeavor that I've undertaken recently with one of my colleagues here, who, unbeknownst to me, was learning Spanish as a second language, and he was following a lot of the same methods that I was using, learning French as a third language. And the reason I started learning French is I'm a certified Spanish teacher. I could go into the Italian class. I could understand a lot of it. But I go to the French class, I understood nothing. So I said, you know what? I've got this language in my department. I want to start learning it. I want to start understanding it. And so I started using some self-study methods with an application called Pimsleur, which is really the basis for a lot of methods that are used by some top government agencies for when they want to teach somebody a language quickly. So I started using this application, started connecting with online tutors, and after 9 months, I was able to pass the SEAL test in French. So I already passed it in Spanish, now I passed it in French. And so Dr. Zigar, who's the assistant principal of this school, I found out was learning Spanish in a very similar way. And so we said, why don't we start developing a program for staff? There's been a lot of interest from staff in learning Spanish as a second language. Over the years, I've done a few different professional development workshops about communicating with Spanish-speaking families and students. And one of the regrets that often came out of those meetings, I guess besides having me as the presenter, was that they did not learn Spanish in the hour that I had them there. So, I thought this is something that we need a more sustained amount of time for. And I think the thing was I had to start devising a method where I learned, hey, this is possible. You can learn a language with some different self-study methods, connecting with online tutors, and then putting it to use wherever you can. So the fact that I was able to pass the SEAL test gave me some confidence to be able to say that this could be done. And so we'll be starting up with this cohort pretty much like next week. So we just did the info session with a number of the people that were interested, and we'll be getting it started next week. So I think it's a real interesting connection to the SEAL test, to the Seal of Biliteracy, and just to the idea of valuing different languages within our community. So I want to thank the board for listening to my presentation, but also for the support that's been given to the SEAL over the years, and for allowing us to be able to kind of improve what we've been doing over the years in terms of ensuring that we maximize the number of students that have access to the test, and that are able to demonstrate their acumen with these languages. So I thank you.
Thank you. These kids in the front row, I see you yawning. You're making me yawn. You're free to go if your parents want to take you home, get a good night's sleep. Okay. Correspondence.
No correspondence.
All right. No student representative to give student representative comments. I have only one comment, and that is just a reminder that we have board training on March 13th at 6:30. Otherwise, Frank?
Good evening, everyone. I could see everybody was patiently waiting for me. No, it's okay. Anyway, we have so many wonderful things going on in the district, so I just want to begin by congratulating all of our students, whether they are competing on the athletic field, performing on the various stages, or their hard work in the classrooms. They continue to make us proud. I was lucky enough to attend our high school bowling team's last match last week. Our bowling team is, I believe, in its third year of operation, and they've had one successful season after the next. Unfortunately, they did lose out to Morris Knolls last week. However, our students performed quite well, and more importantly, they demonstrated such a high degree of sportsmanship. So I'd like to congratulate all those students, as well as Coach Cantwell, for a wonderful season. Last week at Roxbury High School was the peer-to-peer art show. This is a celebration of inclusive practice and artistic expression that is attendant to the peer-to-peer art program. While I was not able to attend, a number of my colleagues were, and I've heard wonderful reviews from the event. So I do want to congratulate all of our student artists, as well as the teachers, Mr. Lennox and Mrs. Speranza, who organized the event. This past Friday, all of the Roxbury High School boys basketball teams traveled up to Pequannock to participate in a fundraiser event, Game On Gavin. This fundraiser event was designed to support a young student at Pequannock who is facing leukemia for a second time. So not only do our students show up with a great deal of spirit, they also donned orange t-shirts, just as our Pequannock players did, in a moment and a movement of solidarity. So I do want to commend all of our students, all of our coaching staff, Mr. Mason, our athletic director, and the Booster Club for their work in sponsoring our students' participation in this event. And to Gavin and his family, you're in my thoughts, and I wish you a great deal of hope and encouragement during your journey. Switching gears a little bit, February 14th, in addition to being Valentine's Day, was celebrated here in Roxbury through a day of professional learning and development. So while our students were home, relaxing, our teachers and our staff members were hard at work, engaged in a myriad of activities, including understanding how to use Linkit, the data analytics and platforming tool and benchmarking tool, using that data to inform instruction. Staff members were also given time to meet in their PLC, as well as to engage in what's known as vertical articulation, where teachers at various levels came together to discuss instructional initiatives and to plan accordingly. I want to congratulate all of the staff members who led and attended those sessions, and it's wonderful to see our entire faculty engaged in such meaningful learning activities. Over the past couple of weeks, I've hosted a number of faculty and staff work sessions. These sessions have been devoted to reviewing the portrait of a graduate. As many of you know, revising the portrait of a graduate is District Goal 2. So I want to thank those staff members who have attended the event and provided critical feedback about how the portrait of a graduate is enacted day in and day out in our schools, as well as valuable feedback on how to improve things as we move forward. So tomorrow will be the last session, and that will be held at EMS. So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of EMS, I want to congratulate the counseling team for hosting a Counselor with the Coffees event. See, it's not just the superintendent who drinks coffee, everyone does. I understand that many parents attended the event, and it was a wonderful opportunity to ask questions and discuss critical issues students and families are facing. One amazing accomplishment that I do want to call out specifically was recently the district was notified that we received the state distinction of District of Character. This is an immense accomplishment and one that has the result of many, many hours of work and dedication. This initiative really began at the individual school level a number of years ago, actually initially championed by the former superintendent, Dr. Radelick. So through many, many hours, the district has been able to achieve this wonderful feat. So I want to congratulate all who've been involved in that, including the board for their support. We are now under review for what is known as the national level of District of Character. So that review will be forthcoming in the month of March, so more information on that is to follow. Last week, I, along with two staff members from Roxbury High School, attended the most recent Roxbury Chamber of Commerce meeting. So Ms. Teresa Fernandez, the district transition coordinator, and Ms. Melissa Monero, one of the high school teachers who coordinates the work-based learning program, came to speak to the chamber about the various opportunities for work-based learning at Roxbury High School. In addition to those presentations, members of the chamber shared their feedback and their interest in developing further ways to collaborate with the district. So we look forward to those efforts in the future. Last week, we also hosted, sponsored specifically by the elementary supervisor for math and science, Ms. Crystal Nzegwu, hosted a parent education night regarding building math competency. The event was well attended and very informative. I attended as a superintendent and also an elementary parent, to be honest with you, and it was a great deal of information shared, very specific activities parents could engage in to develop math competency. Discussion was also held about specific vocabulary to use when you're working with your children, and it was really just a fantastic event, and I want to credit Ms. Nzegwu for her work in that regard. As has been mentioned earlier tonight, last week the district hosted its first ever Roxthon Junior. This was an opportunity for younger children to engage in the Thon experience. It wasn't all night long though, so that was okay. It was Monday or Tuesday night, but it was a great opportunity for our students to become involved, increase community awareness, and in its first year, I believe it raised over $6,100. So congratulations to all who were involved. What a wonderful success. Last week was a busy week. I also attended the Global High Five, as many of you did. And Global High Five, if you are unaware, is a multicultural festival where all the cultures around the world are celebrated, whether it's through demonstrations of their customs, sampling of their food, which was great for me and my children, as well as many other educational experiences. So I do want to congratulate Ms. Cordero, World Languages teacher at EMS, as well as many other staff members who worked to make the event such a great success. A few upcoming events. Wednesday, February 26th, I'll be hosting my monthly superintendent coffee. Special guest star, Mr. Bill Crispino, the high school principal, who will be presenting on the proposed high school schedule for the 26-27 school year. So those that are interested, please come out. I think it'll be a very informative event. Later on this week, Roxbury High School's spring musical Little Shop of Horrors will be taking place Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I do encourage anyone who's available to attend. On March 4th at 6 p.m., the Supervisor of Student Support Services, Ms. Colleen Huguenin, will be hosting a parent focus group discussion. This will be at 6 p.m. in the Roxbury High School Media Center, and the focus of this discussion will be twofold: the Genesis scheduling process and the SCORE college and career planning tool. So this will replace Major Clarity as the tool that students and staff and families use to plan the college process. So I do encourage those of you who are interested on attending that. As has been mentioned before, Roxthon will take place on March 7th, so I do encourage those students who are able to certainly come on out. And on March 11th, the elementary supervisor for ELA, that's English Language Arts, and Social Studies, will be hosting a literacy night for parents. This is for elementary age parents, parents of elementary age students, and it'll focus on building competency and developing ways and strategies that you can work with your children on literacy at home. So I do encourage everyone who's available to attend. That will be on March 11th, 7 p.m. in Lincoln Roosevelt School. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Santora. Business Administrator's Report. Joe.
So tomorrow the governor will be giving his budget address, followed by Thursday we will receive our state aid. We should receive our state aid numbers. Last week we received word from the NJDOE that supposedly districts throughout the state will not see a reduction of more than 3% in aid. I'm not holding my breath. We know what happened last year. We were anticipating a $200,000 loss in state aid. It ended up being $1.9 million because we got hit with the ultimate trifecta. Household income increased, ratables increased, and we had a drop in student enrollment. So if that happens again, we could definitely be seeing a bigger decrease than 3%. On a better note, anyway, we will be rolling out an employee rewards program on March 1st. Working Advantage is the leading corporate discount program provider offering exclusive discounts and special offers on products, services, and experiences you need and love. Save big on theme parks, attractions, hotels, rental cars, concerts, sports, live events, electronics, appliances, apparel, gift cards, movie tickets, and much more. Working Advantage is a unique benefit offered exclusively to companies and their employees. This is at no cost to the district. Last week, I received a request from St. Therese. They'd like to use, hopefully, I think you know this, the state gives our non-public schools some allocations. They give them an allocation for security, technology, nursing, textbooks, and other things. St. Therese asked if they can use their security funds to fund their security guard, which I think is a great idea. At first, reading through the guidance, I didn't think that they could do it. Then I reread it, and I found the guidance that said that they can. So what's going to happen is they're going to pay their security guard. They will then invoice the district. The district will then reimburse us. We're not reimbursing them with the district funds. These are the funds that we get, that we manage from the state for them. February 14th, as Dr. Santora said, was our PD day. We provided PD to our nurses on our new AEDs, and they also met with our risk manager on student, staff, and visitor injuries, or accidents, I should say. And then we also held PD for our secretaries, just on basic business office procedures, updates, and things of that nature. Now, for my board and my admin team, the SEC forms are due April 30th. Now, you may say, Joe, that's 2 months away. But I guarantee on April 28th, I'm going to be tracking people down to fill out these forms. And that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Minutes. For item 1, I believe, Carol, you mentioned you had some changes to the regular meeting minutes from January 27th.
Yes. Okay, the minutes of January 27th actually reflect, I had made a request for some changes to the minutes of January 6th. This is very confusing, but I've written this all down, so you know, when I give it to Joe, they'll understand. But January 6th, the reorganization meeting, there had been some votes taken, so I clarified some of those votes were not taken, not reflected properly in the minutes. So I clarified at the January 27th meeting that there should be some changes. And one of the 3 changes I had asked for, one of the 2 changes I'd asked for was made, the other one was not. And I understand the minutes have been already posted, but I think, but that's going to be
Yeah, we're going to
resolved.
take them, Carol, we're going to take them down tomorrow. We're going to revise them, because I know what the change needs to be, and then we'll post them back up. And moving forward, we will ensure that the approved minutes are posted in your board packet.
Right.
Okay, because right now, I think what we do is, because we went and looked back, we posted the draft minutes in the packet on 127, but then never posted the approved minutes, okay?
Right. So, actually, the change was on page 3 of 21 of the January 27th minutes, so it has to do with the votes of the board members. And I had articulated what that was at the last meeting. So that means that the minutes of January 27th have to be changed, and also the minutes of January 6th have to be changed. And then, I think, the minutes, page 8 of 18 on January 27th, there was some confusion in how I voted on page 8 of 18 on a personnel matter. And it was just number 3 that I recused. It was anonymous. It was the anonymous employee. And we had been advised by our prior attorney that when you come into a situation like that and you don't know who the people are that you're voting on, you could make a statement such as to number 3, yes to all that apply except recuse where applicable if the conflict is determined by the BA. So I've written that down. I know it's a mouthful.
Carol, I'm under the impression that was done. If it wasn't, I apologize, but I'll check in, I'll look into it tomorrow and make the change.
Well, actually, it just said something about recuse where applicable. It made it sound like I was recusing on the entire personnel, on every resolution in the personnel section. I was only recusing on resolution number 3.
Gotcha, okay.
So I just have some clarification in there. Sorry, sorry it's so confusing, and that's the only changes I have.
Okay, so we're going to do a separate vote for the regular meeting minutes as amended, but to be clear, we're only doing one vote on January 27th, not the 27th and the reorg. Okay, so roll call vote on the amended minutes for January 27th. Oh, sorry, somebody want to move this?
I'll move it.
Ann, the second, Milo? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bonilla?
Yes.
Mr. Botero?
Yes.
Mrs. Colucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Galdieri?
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McGregor?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Ms. Shenick?
Yes is amended.
And Mr. Mildy?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, now executive session, January 27th, there were no changes. Somebody like to move this? Sharon, second? Kathy? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bonilla?
Yes.
Mr. Botero?
Yes.
Mrs. Colucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Galdieri?
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McGregor?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Ms. Shenick? And Mr. Mildy?
Yes.
Passes.
All right, committee reports. Community relations, Val, you are not there, you're celebrating a birthday, so happy belated birthday. Ann, would you like to give the recap?
Yes, we met on February 18th. We talked about the Distinguished Alumni Award. We talked about that, and then all nominations will be due on April 15th. We talked about the end of the year recognition, sorry, my voice. And I believe that will be take place on May 12th. We talked about the programs that Dr. Santora talked about the Roxathon, about the coffee meet, and we talked about the top 10 dinner that will be held on June 12th. And our next meeting will be March 11th at 6 o'clock, and it will be virtual. Thank you.
Thank you. Education, Milo?
Hello, everyone. The Education Committee met on February 17th at 7 p.m. During the meeting, we discussed NJQ-SAC 2026 prep, expansion of the computer science grant. Many of the topics discussed by Dr. Santora, including the District of Character Award. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 10th, 2025, 7 p.m. virtually.
Thank you. Facilities and Finance did not meet, but Joe is going to give a report.
I did during my BA.
Oh, gotcha.
He did already, but we'll be meeting again at March 11th at 3:45, and it'll be virtual. That's for Facility and Finance.
Thank you. Personnel, Sharon?
We met on February 20th at 5 o'clock virtually. We just basically talked about different personnel changes such as resignations, retirements, reassignments, transfers, appointments, leave replacements, substitutes, and various other things that, of course, I can't discuss details here. And the next meeting date will be March 13th at 4:30 p.m. virtually.
Policies and governance, that was me, I missed it. So Milo, I think you're going to give the recap on that?
Sure. The Policy and Governance met February 17th at 6 p.m. and in the committee we discussed uniform state memorandum regarding law enforcement, general policy and regulation updates. The next meeting will be March 10th, 6 p.m. virtually.
Thank you. Negotiations? Kathy?
Negotiations has not had any
Perfect.
any issues yet.
Sustainability? Kathy?
Yes, spring is in the air.
with the beautiful break in the weather today and what's expected for the rest of the week, students and faculty are getting excited to get started working in our outdoor gardens for the spring. Several of the green teams have met in the past month and have started planning what they will be planting and growing this spring. Gardening is a year-round program in Roxbury, so regardless of what the less than reliable groundhogs have predicted for spring, things are already in bloom. The aeroponic gardens at Jefferson, Franklin, and here in Lincoln Roosevelt are in full swing and growing so quickly that the students are now learning how to dehydrate some of the herbs that they've been growing in order to be able to use them at a later date. March 24th is our next application deadline to update expiring actions, and then the final submission for this year will be on June 12th.
Thank you. Public comments for agenda items. Do we have any?
Not for agenda.
Not for agenda. Okay, brings us to the action items. Finances, resolutions 1 through 12. Carol, would you like to move these resolutions?
Yes, I'd like to move finance resolutions 1 through 12.
A second? Mila? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bonilla?
Yes.
Mr. Botero?
Yes, to all that apply.
Mrs. Colucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Galdieri?
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McGregor?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Ms. Shenick?
Okay, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to look at the voluminous bills list, which I always look at to see if I have any conflict, so I'm going to abstain on the whole entire bills list. And I do have to recuse on number 7, just subparts 11 and 12. And yes on all the rest of the travel resolutions in number 7, and yes on all the rest of the resolutions.
Give me the recusals one more time, Ms. Shenick. The recusals one more time.
I'm recusing on number 7.
Thank you.
Travel request, just subpart 11 and 12. And then I'm abstaining on
All
number
the bills
2.
list.
Just,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Milby?
I need to recuse on travel request, resolution 7, items 11 and 12. Yes to all the rest.
Passes.
Okay. Brings us to education. Now for education, guys, this is what we talked about during exec. We're going to be voting separately right now on HIB item number 23. This is to, we're voting on whether or not we're affirming the decision made by the administration. So a yes vote will essentially agree with the decision, and a no vote will not affirm the decision. So for this, I need somebody to make this motion. Sharon, and a second. Mila. Roll call vote.
One second, I have to ask Mark. Mark, do we do 2 motions on this one? Do one, okay. Thank you. Mr. Bonilla?
Just to clarify, this is the vote, right? This is whether yes is to affirm, no to not, correct? All right, no.
Mr. Botero?
No.
Mrs. Colucci?
No.
Mrs. Galdieri?
No.
Ms. Hernandez?
No.
Mrs. Hopkins?
No.
Mrs. McGregor?
No.
Mrs. Purcell?
No.
Ms. Shenick?
No.
And Mr. Mildy?
No.
So it's been rejected, overturned, Mark? Okay. Just to be clear. Okay, now we want to go with,
Yeah, so now, resolutions 1 through 9 with the amended item number 2, removing item 23, which we just voted on. So, we're going to, Milo, if you want to move those remaining resolutions.
we don't have to.
No, we don't have to.
Yeah, that's why
Oh,
I
you
asked
were just-
Mark, all right?
Okay. Well, all I'm doing is I'm just leaving out 23 from item 2.
Yeah, you do a separate vote. I thought you did
No, motion. Do we need another motion? I would do another one. Okay, all right. I got you. Okay.
All right, so proceed.
So, move forward with the resolution for education, resolutions 1 through 9, excluding the amended.
Second? Eddie? Roll call vote?
Mr. Bonilla?
Yes.
Mr. Botero?
Yes.
Mrs. Colucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Galdieri?
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McGregor?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Ms. Shenick? And Mr. Mildy?
Yes.
Passes.
All right, personnel. Sharon, would you like to move personnel resolutions 1 through 20?
Yes, I would like to move personnel resolutions 1 through 20.
A second?
I'll second it.
And roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bonilla?
Yes.
Mr. Botero?
Yes, all that applies.
Mrs. Colucci?
Yes.
Mrs. Galdieri?
Yes.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McGregor?
Yes.
Mrs. Purcell?
Yes.
Ms. Shenick? And Mr. Mildy?
Yes.
Passes.
All right, that brings us to the executive session for March 17th meeting. Would someone like to move this? Kathy, a second. Val? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? No? Passes. Public comments. We have non-agenda public comment? Go. One.
Ms. Susan Sterikoff?
Susan, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes, and just to state your name again and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Susan Sterikoff. I'm from Kenville. And I had looked over the proposed high school bell schedule and sat down with my freshman to look it over. And my freshman's response was, "Mom, I can't do this. It's too confusing. I'll never know where to be, and it scares me." So I talked to a couple of friends, and when they sat down with their children, there was a general agreement that it's just too confusing. I don't know what other options are open or what the issue is with the current bell schedule, but there's just it's very confusing. So I'm going to try and attend coffee and conversation, and I'm encouraging other people with questions too. Mr. Crispino was kind enough to give me a call, and I didn't have a lot of time to talk to him because I was in the middle of a State Department of Labor audit. So I just asked him my top couple of questions, such as how are you going to handle an active shooter situation? How are you going to handle the lunch situation? And he was able to tell me about that. I will re-ask those questions so that other parents can hear the answers that he had. But I did bring up the famous motorcycle incident for those of you who were here during that time. For those of you who weren't, there was a teenager who opened up one of the doors at the high school in, I believe it was 2019 or 2020, to a friend who rode a motorcycle down the hallway and bumped a kid, knocked him over. So he said, "You've now got cameras that can see quite far." So that's all I wanted to address. Thank you so much. Just an aside, an alumni from from Roxbury danced at Thon on the weekend. Her name is Gabrielle Matone, and she is a 2021 graduate.
Thank you. Okay, any board member comments? Eddie?
So two things, right? More of, I guess both comments. First thing is around the Gavin event that took place in Pequannock. So ironically enough, my son is on the freshman basketball team, so I was actually there. my two little cousins, who's not little, but they're seniors and juniors, they were there supporting my son, and they thought it was the coolest thing that Roxbury was wearing, the orange T-shirts, and now we were. Ironically enough, I was wearing an orange ski cap. Didn't even realize, but it matched. But it was just cool to hear my little cousins say, "Hey, how cool is it that Roxbury is participating in this big event?" And then the JV team came in; they were wearing their shirts, and we didn't stay for varsity, but I have to say it was very cool. It was class act from the Roxbury Booster Club, right? The basketball Booster Club. So kudos to them. And the second thing is around the Roxthon. It's just ironically enough, this past weekend, right? Because we know that Penn State was hosting their event. On Channel 7, they have a special for 30 minutes talking about Thon. So it was a cool conversation that I had with my older son, who's a senior here, who some of his good friends, which weren't here, but they're part of the board for Roxthon, and my son will be here next weekend to support it. It was just cool conversation about the point of the event and how big Penn State does the event themselves and why they're doing it. So just wanted to call those two things out. That's it.
Milo?
Hi, everyone. Roxbury Education Foundation will be hosting its gala on Saturday, April 5th from 7 to 11 at the Mansion in Mountain Lakes. The gala will have a cocktail hour, surf and turf dinner, a lot of amazing prizes and dancing and music. If you're unable to attend, consider donating to a separate fund that will help lower the cost for teachers.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Roxathon of all the money they have raised. And I think it's really great how now they're getting the younger kids involved. Myrna was there, and who else was there? Somebody else was with the little kids, getting the little kids involved. This is a great community. The kids getting involved with Roxathon, our Interact kids, raising money for the homeless. We have a great community, and our kids are great.
Marna?
Yes, my kids had a really good time. I think the high school students were not only did they have everything really well organized and thought out, they interacted with the kids, which was really pleasant. They taught them their line dance that they're doing at Roxlawn. It was nice because it wasn't just here, go play. It was interaction with those kids, and so they should be very proud of themselves. And I also attended, and Kim did as well. We went to the band Tricky Tray on Saturday night, and those parents should be commended. It's an incredible production. It's hours of standing around doing work for their kids. So, and we had a really good time, and it was a huge crowd. I'm sure they did well, and they had over 250 baskets probably altogether, and just commending those parents as well for their efforts. I'm sorry, one more thing. I did go to the math program that Ms. Nzegu led, and it was excellent. It was very informative. I am looking forward to the literacy one, and it was just really well put together for parents to take something home and work with their kids. So I really appreciate the board, the administration having programs like that for parents with little kids. It's a really good sense of outreach for parents. So thank you for that.
Anyone else? Kathy?
Couple questions. So this was a very dated concept from when we were in school, but when you had some type of an emergency where the kids had to leave the school and go outside, so my question is, do teachers in today's world have a list of students that they should be responsible for to make sure they've collected everybody from the school, especially if some students are in bathrooms or wherever else? How are we counting these kids? We've had a couple incidences recently, and my other concern is the weather. And these kids going outside in weather like this. So here's my idea. It's horrible, but it's my idea. Like, these kids are freezing. This weather has been horrendous. So how long do they typically stay outside? And is there any possible way to get buses to the kids in an emergency where you could take them and put these kids on buses to keep warm. So number one, I want to know how you managing knowing where the students are and their safety. And I mean, you can get frostbitten quite easily, especially for younger kids. So I'm just putting that on your lap now.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Carol?
Yeah, I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and I was very happy to be at the presentation by Dr. Santora and the representatives of our work programs with the students. And the Chamber is very interested in a collaboration and internships and things like that, and trying to develop a relationship between the district and the community and the students and businesses, local businesses. So they really loved your speech, Dr. Santora, and I heard a lot of good things about it. And they were really happy that you were able to come and speak to us. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sharon?
One more. When I went to the Roxthon, the kickoff assembly, really touching thing was to see those two brothers that got up and spoke. And they were twins, and the one brother basically talked about what it was like watching his brother go through cancer. And if you didn't have a tear in your eye, then you must be a rock. So I just have to commend those boys for getting up and having the bravery to speak in front of everybody. And it's just a really worthy organization. And, speaking as a cancer patient, things are so expensive, and any amount of money that you can raise, kids don't deserve cancer, and I don't know. I just really am a fan of Roxthon and wish our kids the best.
Anyone else?
Chris, may I apologize. During my report, I was supposed to tell members of the public that there are a couple copies of an article on the table there regarding that 3% that I spoke about, but the bulk of the article is about one of our surrounding districts and what they've gone through over the last few years with S2 and losing state funding. The district is Jefferson. The article is phenomenal. It talks about they're about to sell their Board of Education building. They are closing down one of their schools. It's just, I hope that we never get there, but that will show you how bad things can get. That it was just an excellent article that I came across today, and when I saw that it was about Jefferson, Dr. Santora and I have been discussing this for the past couple months, and and I feel for Jefferson. Rita, the BA there, is a very good friend of mine. Her father, Senator Orojo, was Senator Orojo. He's no longer a senator, I believe. But the article is phenomenal. It's up there on the table. There's a couple copies. I'll email the board tomorrow a link so you guys can read it as well. It's an excellent article, and it just goes to show you, I don't want to say this, but it goes to show you what could happen. Okay? Thank you.
Way to end on a positive note. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, with that, a motion to adjourn? Milo, second? Val, I got you enough, Kathy. Roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
It's even better. Aye. Any opposed? Nope, we're adjourned.